Maggie Smith's story began in Ilford, Essex on December 28, 1934, as the youngest of three children in a middle-class family. Her father, Nathaniel, was a pathologist, and her mother, Margaret, was a Scottish-born secretary. In 1939, with war clouds looming over London, Maggie's family moved to Oxford for safety. It was here that Maggie discovered her love for the stage, nurtured by Oxford's rich cultural environment. Although shy and quiet in her youth, Maggie's natural talent was unmistakable. Teachers recognized her imagination and passion for performance, especially in Shakespeare's works. At the age of 16, she left school and joined the Oxford Playhouse, making her debut as Viola in Twelfth Night. This marked the start of her acting journey, and by 17, Maggie was already immersed in the craft, determined to make it her vocation. A journey through the Old Vic and the rise of rivalry. In 1959, Maggie joined London's legendary Old Vic Theatre, a prestigious company where many of the finest British actors honed their craft. At the Old Vic, she performed some of the greatest female roles in Shakespeare, including Desdemona in Othello and Cleopatra in Antony and Cleopatra. With each role, Maggie showcased her remarkable ability to balance vulnerability and strength, and her performances began to captivate both critics and audiences. Her time at the Old Vic also led to her being noticed by Laurence Olivier, the iconic British actor and director of the newly formed National Theatre. However, despite his admiration, their working relationship was not without tension. Maggie's sharp wit and independent nature often clashed with Olivier's dominating presence. This rivalry reached its peak in 1964 during a production of Othello, when Olivier, frustrated by Maggie's compelling performance, slapped her on stage. Despite the tension, Maggie's resilience and talent grew stronger, shaping her into a formidable actress. A breakthrough in film and Hollywood recognition. While Maggie Smith was establishing herself on stage, the world of cinema was calling. Her first notable film appearance came in the 1958 British thriller Nowhere to Go, where her role as Bridget Howard earned her a BAFTA nomination. Yet it was her performance in the 1963 film The VIPs, alongside Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor, that truly brought her to Hollywood's attention. While her role was small, Maggie's presence stood out, capturing the attention of filmmakers. Her defining moment came with her portrayal of Jean Brodie in the prime of Miss Jean Brodie, 1969, an eccentric and manipulative teacher who believes she is shaping the future of her students. This performance earned Maggie an Academy Award for Best Actress, solidifying her reputation as a leading actress in both the UK and internationally. Maggie continued to work in both film and theater, never losing touch with her roots in the stage, personal struggles, and a new beginning. Maggie Smith's personal life was as dramatic as any of her roles. In the 1960s, she married actor Robert Stevens, a talented but troubled man. While their marriage began with promise, it quickly deteriorated due to Stevens' alcoholism and erratic behavior. Their relationship was further strained by infidelity and emotional turmoil. The breaking point came when Maggie discovered Stevens' affair with his receptionist, a betrayal that shattered her trust. After 6 years of attempting to make the marriage work, she filed for divorce in 1973, leaving her to raise their two sons, Chris and Toby Stevens, on her own. Despite these challenges, Maggie remained a steadfast mother, providing her children with stability amid the chaos. In the mid-1970s, fate led her to playwright Beverly Cross, a man who had long loved her from afar. They married in 1975, finding solace in each other's company until Beverly's death in 1998, leaving Maggie heartbroken. Health battles and career resilience. Throughout her life, Maggie Smith faced numerous health challenges but never allowed them to interfere with her career. In the 1980s, she was diagnosed with Graves' disease, an autoimmune disorder that affected her thyroid. Despite undergoing treatment, Maggie continued to act, refusing to let her illness define her. In 2007, during the filming of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. Even though she had to undergo chemotherapy, Maggie continued to work, playing the role of Professor McGonagall with grace and dedication. She later admitted that the chemotherapy left her feeling exhausted, but she never considered quitting. Acting had become her anchor, and it helped her weather the storm of illness. Her resilience in the face of such personal challenges only added depth and authenticity to her performances, earning her admiration from colleagues and fans alike. Global recognition: Harry Potter and Downton Abbey. By the 2000s, Maggie Smith had already established herself as one of the greatest actresses of her generation. However, her most iconic roles were still to come. In 2001, Maggie was cast as Professor Minerva McGonagall in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Over the course of 8 films, Maggie embodied the character with a perfect blend of authority and compassion, earning her the love of millions of fans worldwide. Even while battling cancer during the filming of The Half-Blood Prince, Maggie's portrayal of McGonagall remained flawless, cementing her status as a beloved figure in the Harry Potter franchise. A few years later, Maggie joined the cast of Downton Abbey as Violet Crawley, the sharp-tongued and witty Dowager Countess of Grantham. Her performance earned her critical acclaim and several prestigious awards, including multiple Primetime Emmys and Golden Globes. These roles introduced Maggie to a new generation of fans, further solidifying her place in popular culture. A lifelong friendship with Judi Dench. One of the most cherished aspects of Maggie Smith's life was her deep friendship with fellow actress Judi Dench. Their bond began in the 1950s when both women were young, aspiring actresses at the Old Vic Theatre. Despite their differences, Maggie's dry humor and Judi's warmth, the two became inseparable. Over the decades, they shared both stage and screen, appearing together in films like Tea with Mussolini and Ladies in Lavender, and on stage in The Breath of Life. Their friendship was built on mutual respect, shared experiences, and a deep sense of loyalty. In the 2018 documentary, Nothing Like a Dame, audiences were given a rare glimpse into their bond, watching as they teased each other and laughed together, showing the true depth of their affection. Despite occasional rumors of rivalry, both women rejected the notion, with Judi once saying, "Maggie is one of my closest friends. I couldn't do half of what she does." The heartbreaking loss of Maggie Smith. In September 2024, the world lost Maggie Smith at the age of 89. Surrounded by family, including her 2 sons, Toby Stephens and Chris Larkin, Maggie passed away peacefully, leaving behind a legacy that will endure for generations. Her death was felt deeply by her close friend Judi Dench, who spoke openly about her grief. At the Cheltenham Literature Festival on October 5, 2024, Judi was asked about loss and grief, but when she tried to answer, her voice broke, a moment of raw emotion that moved the audience. In her private moments, Judi found a personal way to honor Maggie's memory. She planted a crabapple tree in her forest, a tribute to the woman who had been her closest companion for over 6 decades. On the day of Maggie's funeral, Judi carried a single crabapple from the tree as a final, heartfelt gesture of remembrance. The enduring legacy of Maggie Smith and Judi Dench's friendship. Maggie Smith's death marked the end of an era for British theatre and film, but it also symbolized the heartbreaking loss of a friendship that had endured for more than 6 decades. Judi Dench, who had been by Maggie's side through triumphs and tribulations, now carries her memory in the quiet solitude of her private forest. Their friendship, built on love, laughter, and mutual admiration, had weathered the storms of fame, illness, and personal tragedy. In Judi's grief, the world witnessed not just the loss of a legendary actress, but the breaking of a bond that had defined an entire generation of British acting. Maggie Smith's greatest role, perhaps, was not in front of the camera or on stage, but as the loyal and loving friend she was to Judi Dench.